So previously on my little old YouTube channel, I posted a rare disease day video, which was an update 8 years after being diagnosed with vasculitis, to say that there is no active vasculitis in my life anymore, which is still true. No active vasculitis, but I have gotten to the bottom of some symptoms recently that are somewhat vasculitis related. So I wanted to share an update because of those videos that I made when I was very active with vasculitis. I connected with a lot of people online with similar stories, and there could be other people in the same situation as me. So here I am sharing what's happened. So I've recently been diagnosed with secondary immunodeficiency, which seems to have been caused by the rituximab treatment I had, which was life-saving and amazing and sorted my vasculitis out. But from what I understand, it sent my B cells back a bit wonky, and means that I have an antibody deficiency, so my body can't produce them properly. So it basically means that I'm quite susceptible to very bad infections that could be life-threatening, but thankfully there is treatment, which means that my body should be able to fight off infections and whatnot, so it isn't life-threatening. But anyway, there are experts in this and I am not an expert. This is like my understanding of it, so please don't take my word for it. Use the resources out there. Immunodeficiency UK has been an amazing website, organisation, a resource for me at the moment, so please go to them. But what I will do is I'll share my story and experience as to how we've got here, and I did vlog my first therapy today, immunoglobulin replacement therapy, which is what I've been starting. So I'll try and share some experiences. So I guess my symptoms started about 2 years ago. I had recently moved from the north to the southwest, and I just had this recurring cough that wouldn't go away. And I thought it was like, you know, when everyone got out of lockdown and we're like, remember when you used to catch colds all the time, and like maybe we're just getting used to catching colds all the time, and that's probably why we've got coughs. I just kind of put it down to that, and then sometimes hay fever. And then also when I first moved to the southwest, we were in a bit of a mouldy flat and it was gross, and then we moved out of that one because it was gross, and I thought perhaps that is causing my cough. And I always seemed to try and find things that would resolve, like just being a little bit sick all the time, but not fully sick. It got to a point when I thought my cough was being caused by Ramipril, some medication I'm on, because other people have experienced a cough with Ramipril. So I did change medications, which slightly improved things, but yeah, this recurring being ill was just constant. And it all came to a bit of a head last summer, actually. Like, I had a cough and then suddenly I had like swelling in my lymph nodes. So I had like this massive neck. I might have a picture of it, but it looked really weird. And I was basically like walking around like this and working like this for ages and just looking at people like that. And I just managed to find more excuses then, like, oh, it's probably because I grind my teeth when I sleep, because I sometimes get anxious. And it's just amazing how much you can gaslight yourself to just like shoving symptoms under the rug because it's inconvenient, because you can't seem to get to the bottom of them. But anyway, the swelling got so bad one time that I wasn't breathing very well, so I got sent to hospital and ended up being in hospital for about 5 days. And it was sadly when the Lionesses lost the World Cup as well, so kick me whilst I'm down, why don't you? But anyway, I was treated with antibiotics and steroids, and it sorted out the swelling. It sorted out the cough for like a month or 6 weeks, and I was really convinced that it was my vasculitis. I thought maybe that's why I've been ill, and I like kept on going to the doctors. I was being seen in between 2 hospitals, so it was a lot of like repeating my story, and I just felt like I wasn't getting to the bottom of things because my blood tests were coming back with no indications of vasculitis being active at all. And I was like, then what on earth is wrong with me? But anyway, I thought like maybe it was just a random infection that I had that was long term, and now I've had antibiotics and steroids and the drugs will have sorted it. But eventually me and my partner moved back up north for the start of 2024, so the start of the year. And I guess my mindset was new job, new house, back closer to home. Hopefully I'll just start to feel better. But the cough was just there again and recurring, and I wasn't sleeping at night. I'd sleep on the couch most nights, like upright, because I was just coughing a lot. And it was always worse at night. Like, I'd sometimes like fumble through the day, but I'd still always sound ill. And people would always ask you, you know, if you're ill, and it's just like, it's kind of like normal for me, which is really embarrassing, and it made me feel so anxious socially to be outside or be in a restaurant or even in an office and I cough, especially post-COVID. So it just was not ideal, and it got to a bit of a state where I was referred back to my previous consultant for vasculitis because I was back in the north, so that was great. And I just said to them that my quality of life at the moment is not great. Like, I'm not sleeping, it does make me feel fabulous, coughing all the time, and it makes me really worried. So we did plenty of tests and I was referred to an immunologist. Now, between that appointment and the immunologist, I eventually went to A&E because I'd coughed so hard that I'd pulled an intercostal muscle and it was so painful, and I thought I'd broken a rib. It's just like another knock-on symptom of how ridiculous this cough and general feeling unwell was. And anyway, I went to this immunologist appointment and they kind of explained about secondary immunodeficiency, how that can be caused by rituximab in the long term, and also how the recurring infections have had a long-term impact on my lungs. Like, I still get a bit of a croaky voice sometimes, and like I just feel out of breath sometimes, like walking up the stairs. But I think with practice and with treatment, that is kind of reversible and should get better. But it was just one of those amazing and rare moments that I guess a lot of people get, is when you kind of get a diagnosis and when you get to the bottom of things, and it's always like someone's giving you a puzzle piece where things fit together, and then you can look back at the past 2 years and realise what was going on all this time. So it was a pretty big appointment because it was a lot of information to take in, and they mentioned that the treatment for it is immunoglobulin replacement therapy, and that's something I'll likely be on for life. And that felt like a lot of kind of information to digest. But as I started digesting that information, I realised like how amazing to know what's going on and to have a treatment for it. Like, so I'm really thankful for the NHS and the people that have helped me, because that's amazing. And what I'm also thankful for is having a bit of a scapegoat. So for example, I have been quite tired with being ill all the time, and I'm a bit of a clumsy and forgetful person anyway. We started using a phrase at home that really helps. You know, a bit like spoon theory for people with like fatigue or different illnesses. Kind of spoon theory is a good way to communicate your energy levels. But for me, because I have low immunoglobulin levels at the moment, whenever I do something clumsy or forgetful, my partner will just say, "Is it because you've got no goblins?" So that's kind of keeping me going, being able to blame things on the goblins. So here I am, 12 years now since vasculitis diagnosis, but with secondary immunodeficiency, but with some treatment which will bring these goblins back. So I really feel like it's the start of getting to feel like myself again. I started 2024 feeling pretty rubbish and turning 30, but now things really are coming up Millhouse. I really wanted to share an update here because with my vasculitis diagnosis, I started recording my own experience here and met some really cool people through that have really supported me online. And whilst some days I really cringe at having a YouTube footprint or even just an internet footprint, this really helps me feel normal again. So hello again if you're from the previous years, and also welcome if you're new here. Again, I am not a professional or an expert in immunodeficiency, so please use the resources necessary to learn more about it. But hopefully this is just another person's experience with vasculitis and immunodeficiency that we can add to the mix and hopefully connect over somehow. I probably won't consistently post on my YouTube channel because I don't have the goblins for that, but I do have Instagram and TikTok, so same handle on there if you want to stay connected. So thanks for tuning in. I can't remember how to end these things. Don't let the goblins get you down.